The following is a paid program. The content is provided by the advertiser. WSTU, its staff, management, and owners are not responsible for the content. Advisory services offered through Blackridge Asset Management, a registered investment advisor. Securities are offered through Peak Brokerage Services, LLC. Blackridge Asset Management is a separate and independent entity from Peak Brokerage Services, LLC. Member, FINRA, SIPC. And now, Today with Denny, here's Denny Artachi.
Perfect. Thank you.
Good morning. Another glorious day in South Florida. Man, I'm so happy I got to wake up today. What about you, Evan?
Any day that you get to wake up and be vertical is a great day.
Yeah, I'm all for that vertical stuff and being alive and healthy. I've been excited about this show. I have a very special guest. Her name is Ellen Murphy, and she does... she's a Reiki healer. She teaches hot yoga classes. She also is part of a company that we're going to talk about with a couple of doctors that practices natural healing. We have a lot in common. We had met some time ago, and like minds think alike. She's a very positive lady, a very calm lady, very spiritual, which means that you're single, right? Because if you're beautiful, intelligent, and together, they're like, whoa, I better stay away from this chick. But I'm happy to have her here. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, Denny. It's great to see you.
Wow, what a voice.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's like so soothing. That just like put me in like...
Maybe we should record her and use her as a commercial.
I was like, I just felt zen there for a minute.
Well, that's her deal. That's her zen thing, right?
Love it.
Not good. You'll all be asleep by the end of the session.
Do you ever, it's a crazy question, but do you ever get angry?
I do.
You do? Okay. Is there like...
I'm a human being.
Yeah,
yes,
of course.
Yes.
But you seem to have that calming factor about her. And, I want to talk also and ask her about, she lived in Europe for, what was it, a couple of years?
Yeah.
How many years did you live in Europe?
About a year and a half in Europe, close to 2, and then about 2 in Asia, and all over Asia.
And you were teaching the yoga there.
I was.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's first talk about, how did you get involved in teaching yoga?
Mm-hmm.
How did you first go about doing that?
Right. Straight up out of the gate, if I didn't find yoga, I probably would have taught. You just asked me a question about anger.
Yes.
I probably would be completely anxious and angry probably 90% of the time. So out of a reaction, I was working in pharmaceuticals and also in medical devices in New York City. So, and a single mom to my son. So a tremendous amount of stress and
sure, you were
anxiety.
In sales, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then raising a child alone.
And raising a child.
Yeah. So it really saved my life emotionally.
That's
so that
great.
was really a reaction out of not the physical piece, the emotional piece. I needed it. It just, yeah.
Now it's interesting. You work for a pharmaceutical company, but that a lot of healing happens internally and it happens mentally.
Absolutely.
And stress is probably the biggest killer of anything that we see in society.
No doubt.
Evan and I, we never get too political because people are so emotionally charged. But, that's why the vast majority of society is so angry now. And they don't take time to, I speak about it in my book, and I gave you a copy of my book. We have to at least put 15 minutes a day away where we do nothing but breathe and meditate and be calm.
Agreed. 100%.
Isn't that true?
100%.
And so a lot of people that come to your class and you teach them, you do the hot Bikram yoga, it's called, right?
Yes.
So what's the difference between that and just stretching and breathing? What's the difference between the hot Bikram and the traditional yoga style?
Well, all yoga, you're stretching and breathing, but the heat, I think a couple of things. First of all, your body is going to open up a little bit more efficiently due to the heat, thus preventing injuries, as well as sauna is still the #1 way to detox.
Really?
With all of our advanced technologies, absolutely. So you get that sauna effect. So you get the detox from the liver, pancreas, kidney, the lymphatic system. So you get,
So let me ask you about that. If sauna really detoxes Am I saying that right? Is there a word called detoxify?
Yeah, there
Yes,
is.
there is?
absolutely.
Woo! I did have coffee today.
got
Have a
it.
detoxification if you really want to get into it.
Right, right.
So you're telling me, like, if you did sauna for like what, 15 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day?
Yeah,
What do you think?
I think the data and the research points to about 60 minutes.
Really? Of sweating,
Yeah,
sweating it out,
yeah.
letting
I mean,
your
that's
body.
optimal, but
Okay.
you know, if you can, whatever you can get, it's, you know, better than nothing. But yeah, it's still, you know, nature's way, body's way of alleviating the toxins. Yeah, it's still the most efficient way.
And as far as breathing goes, I've discussed this. I had another yoga teacher who's a good friend of mine here as well. And it's true, a lot of people don't realize that they're taking too many breaths. I guess ideally, maybe 6 to 7 a minute is optimal. And if you can do less.
Yeah.
So
less breathing, longer
inhale.
inhales and exhales, less breaths per minute.
Yes.
Elongating. Something about a little bit of a longer on the exhale as well is a bit, you know, more beneficial. Just taps the parasympathetic nervous system.
Can you imagine if more people did that instead of taking antidepressants and benzodiazepines to calm themselves? How better of an effect that would be?
Absolutely.
You think there'd be less road rage out there?
100%, no doubt.
And it's maybe they tune in less to CNN and Fox. Oh, I said the networks. Jeez. Greg, are they going to sue us for using their names?
That's all right.
Okay. So I really believe in this stuff. It's hard, though. You know why? A lot of people don't follow this, or they believe, oh, come on. It can't be true. Relax, breathe better, and I'll be healthier. No. But you have to also eat well, right?
Yeah.
You can't go to McDonald's 4 and 5 times a week and expect your body to react good.
No.
You have to sleep also.
Ridiculously huge. Yes, absolutely.
So the Reiki healing has always fascinated me because you touch people to heal them, right? That's how it works. I mean, how does Reiki healing really work?
Right. I get so many questions on this, so thank you. So good example. So in yoga, we move our own energetic systems.
Okay.
You know, they call these chakras. In the Western world, we say there's 7 chakras. In reality, there's 720,000 nerve endings that are scattered throughout the body. So, you know, in Ayurvedic medicine, they feel that all your trauma, all your anything that could have happened to you that can be interpreted as traumatic or debilitating, particularly from childhood, gets trapped within the body. They also feel like this Ayurvedic medicine, you know, Indian medicine, that trauma then can precipitate, if it stays trapped in the body, the root of all disease. So it's one theory.
And it stays in you mentally, obviously. It manifests into something physical.
Absolutely.
But it's something that we're mentally holding on to. And I always make a joke about unhappy people. I say, well, they're still not over their childhood. But that's what you're talking about. That so the Reiki healing releases that.
So, right, like in yoga, you release it yourself.
Okay.
Through the movement, through the breath.
Okay.
Maybe through awareness as well, a deep focus. But with the Reiki healer, in addition to your mindfulness during the practice, releases it for you through life force, universal energetic healing. You know, life force healing, it's what connects all of us.
Okay.
You know, it's the center of the universe.
If you have any questions, please call in. We're going to take our first break, and the number to call here is 220-9788 or just remember 220-WSTU. If you have any questions about Ellen Murphy, or if you'd like to go to one of her, she does do private lessons as well. And we'll be back in 60 seconds. Okay, we are back with Ellen Murphy, who's a yoga instructor, a Reiki healer. And folks, if you're interested, she does do private lessons. She also has a studio that you can meet at and do it. And what's always fascinated me about yoga, once again, is it focuses on the breath, it focuses on relaxation, because so many people, they cheat themselves about having peaceful, quiet moments during the day.
Mm-hmm.
And you can really tell
Yeah.
because they're wound up. And I think what it is they always think that they have to be stimulated by something. Like some people think it's weird that I drive with the radio off in my car.
Love it.
And I'm like, well, I like music once in a while, but a lot of times I don't want to hear anything. And when I come home, Evan, you're the same way, aren't you?
I am.
Now, let me tell you about my producer. This guy was WWE announcer for World Wrestling for 8 years. He's the announcer for the New York Mets, and he has a DJ business.
Excellent.
I
do a morning show.
And he does a morning show.
And he has a great voice.
And he has a great voice. He's a great God-loving person.
Yeah.
That's the other thing, too. When we talk about spirituality, I think most people, if they believe in a higher power, I don't want to get too religious. I believe in God and Christ and all that. But what it is if you believe in a higher power and the golden rule of don't do things to others that you wouldn't want done to you, then that is a spiritual person.
100%.
Has nothing to do with how many times a week you go to church,
right,
or how many Hail Marys you say.
Right.
Do you look at another human being with empathy? And do you forgive easily? And do you move on? So that has a lot. I think it's all tied in together. Now, when you were in Europe, that must have been something else. I mean, did you make money when you were teaching, or are you?
I did.
Okay, all right. We're not the IRS. Don't worry about it. But some people, they go on that journey and they go, no, I just did it, to share my. And I go, yeah, but sharing doesn't put food on the table.
Right.
So you did that for about 1.5 years.
Yeah.
What were some of your best takeaways when you were in Europe doing this?
Well, I have a fond memory of Ireland just being very intense yogis.
Really?
Very focused.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Of all places, Ireland.
Yeah, very focused. And actually in Vietnam as well. Very, very, very focused people. So very intense, very driven. So it was nice to see that. Just, I guess, a tad bit more focused, perhaps.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Ireland and Vietnam, there's been a lot of turmoil there. So it kind of makes sense.
Right.
Now,
completely, 100%. And the people in Vietnam are absolutely stunning. Their work ethic, their focus on family.
Wow.
So incredibly driven. Yeah.
Many of us did not have great childhoods, and without getting too deep, I've had a lot of terrible things happen to me in my life. And in many aspects, I resent that they happened, but at the same time, it's made me who I am today to appreciate. It's kind of like if you're never sad, you'll never appreciate being happy. You have to have a reference point. I'm not saying, folks, to be depressed, but if you have had terrible things happen to you and you've overcome and you've been a survivor and you've successfully stayed grounded, you typically are a better person. And I think that's where this all ties. Now, let's talk about, we're hoping to get your partners here in the future. They're still, talk about the company and what it is because it's about natural healing that they're doing, right?
Absolutely. And I want to get to that in a second. I just want to back up for 1 second.
Yeah, sure.
The point that you just made, it's like, that's what we kind of do, when we're in the yoga class. There's no way to Zen. You can't just, the only way through is through. So in yoga, actually, it's a similar thing to what you're saying about, disruptive childhood.
Yes.
Well, you come into yoga and you sort of, you elevate the heart rate, the blood pressure. You sort of add stress. The prefrontal cortex and the limbic system start communicating, and that fight, flight, or response when you first start is so powerful. The sympathetic nervous system kicks in. So you're forcing your body, you're training your body through the breath work, through mind control. I even think the mirror work is vital. You're forcing your body to calm down. You're teaching it. So outside of the room, is where you receive all the benefits emotionally, because you're forcing your body to say, I'm going to stay here. I'm going to breathe. I'm going to do this movement or not, depending on what you're wrestling with.
Sure.
If you've got a lot of pain, it's okay. You can take a second.
So
you
you
can take
really
a break
do,
from the pose.
You really do raise the heart rate in your classes?
Absolutely.
And here
There's
I was
many
thinking that
poses
you're
that
relaxing.
do that.
Okay.
No, like I said, there's no way to Zen. The only way through
Okay.
is through. You actually sort of bring these. You actually tantalize the body almost.
Okay.
And then you understand. You then force it through the breath work and through the movement, how to then relax. Yeah,
I
you
think
teach it. You teach the body. You train it through these poses, through the breathing.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And then that's when you receive all the benefits.
Afterwards, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I know that I go to the gym first thing in the morning, and I know that, yes, that's the key. My goal is to get my heart rate up, to sweat, and put the stress through my body, because when I'm done, I feel so good. It's like, this is a good natural drug with no side effects.
That's exactly. You got it. You got it. And it's the same when, we've all had these horrific childhood stories. But,
yes.
But we grow so much stronger.
We grow so much, yeah.
And we find our unique voice through that. It's like these, I always say, deep appreciation for the good, the bad, and the terribly ugly, because when you look back, they're the things that made you who you are, right? That made you Denny Artache.
You sure you don't want to hire her, Evan? I think with her voice and her temperament, I think Greg may. Greg, are you listening? I have your next radio superstar here.
She could do voiceover work.
She
a professional voice actress.
I would love that. Yeah. I actually have tried that in the past.
Have you?
Yeah, I'm totally open
to it. We could experiment because I have a
Let's
Pro Tools studio and we can do some voiceovers.
Would love that.
And but the thing is, all kidding aside, we all get angry. We all have our moments. There's, I look at myself sometimes the way I've behaved in the past and the recent past, because I think for me the most frustrating thing is dealing with so many that don't believe in these principles, that maybe believe in, hey, it's my way or forget it, or who are you? And sometimes I just go, wow, where'd you learn that? Who taught you that? I mean, where and how's that working out for you? And so sometimes, because you try and be nice and polite, then you have to get ghetto on somebody before they finally realize it and they change their behaviors,
right?
Which is crazy. Right. So thank you for sharing that. Now about the company.
Yes,
what is the name of the company that you're involved with?
So right now we're actually still in the process of creating it.
Okay.
So
no name yet?
Well, it's actually right now I'm currently at the Health and Rehab Center of Palm Beach. I'm working with Dr. John DeLuca.
Okay.
And our partner is Mike Cohen. He's in Neurobiofeedback. He owns the Center for Brain in Jupiter.
Wow.
And Health and Rehab Center is in North Palm Beach. And they're a dynamic duo.
Yeah.
And Neurobiofeedback is a lot of what we're talking about, but it works on brain waves to then tap the body to remember, if you come in for insomnia or a chronic disease or traumatic brain injury, predominantly is what he sees. Concussions.
The biofeedback, is it covered by most insurance companies? Because that's the tricky part.
Not really at all.
See that, it's so crazy. Yeah. They'll cure cancer, everything else. But if you have problems with your thinking, it's just all in your head. Yeah, that's exactly my point.
Thank you.
It's in my head. I need to get it out of my head.
That's right. Thank you. Thank you.
But it's like they don't talk about it like it's something to be ashamed of.
Right.
It's like addiction. Okay, look, addiction is real, folks. There are people who cannot have one drink. If they do, they are off to the races and they wake up a week later.
Absolutely.
It's a serious issue and an opioid crisis. And, and there's nothing to be ashamed about getting help if you are addicted to something.
Absolutely.
Get help.
Right.
It's no different from breaking your arm or having a heart issue.
It's true. Or having cancer. And addiction is, right. There's a reason why someone can just have one glass of wine and someone, One
Yeah.
is too many and 6,000 is not enough. I mean,
Exactly right.
It's a physiological,
Believe me,
makeup of the individual.
I've been in some famous bands, and I have struggled with. I thought that I maybe had a problem, seriously, because you don't think about it. People, and Evan and I have talked about this, because he does DJ work, he does weddings.
Right.
Everyone wants to buy you a drink,
Sure.
and they think it's normal to have 5 or 6 cocktails every night.
Yeah.
And folks, it's not. It's not good. It's not good
Right.
for your heart. It's not good for your circulatory system.
Right.
And I think
Liver, kidney,
et
pancreas,
cetera,
all of
et
it.
cetera.
Yeah.
So they're already practicing the biofeedback,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
they're looking to form a company to help people.
Mm-hmm. They're actually, that's what we're in the process of organizing. And so Mike's been at Center for Center for Brain Training for several decades. He's nationally recognized. Quite interesting, when I was flying back from Vietnam is how I met him, because my international time clock was from being on Asian time, which is literally their day is our night is their day. So I was having problems with insomnia, and he healed me. Yeah.
That's tough, man, when you can't sleep and you're just lying awake going, what the hell's going on?
Oh gosh.
I mean, and it's because our brain is working overtime.
Absolutely.
Look, let's
the cortisol levels have just completely
yes,
elevated. Absolutely. And other psychological, physiological things going on. Yeah.
If you're a creative person and you're intelligent, the mind can keep you up very easily.
Right.
Just like you can train yourself to calm down and overlook things.
Right.
The toughest thing is to overlook the insanity. We talked about, we're both conservatives, but we're not crazy about it, right? We're not picketing and saying all liberal-minded people are evil. That's just insane.
Right.
We just believe in conservative philosophies, like, less government. People should.
Right.
It's our own bodies.
Right.
And we talked about it in the green room, that this COVID thing has been so politicized. It's insane.
Yeah.
What the hell does politics have to do with a disease that came out
Agreed.
and has inflicted all these lives?
Yes.
I'm still scratching my head about that.
It is perplexing.
Yeah. And so, of course, people have died, and it's a terrible thing, but it's also been overplayed in many circles as well. And now we're in a stage of, and you talked about, lots of people who have stayed healthy. They didn't get the vaccine. And yet we have people who get the vaccine and still get COVID, and people who have died. I don't know. I can't, I'm officially dumbfounded, because the goalpost has been changing all this time. And you said getting sick is a good thing in a lot of ways, because having a fever and having your body run its course is part of. I mean, how did people heal 6,000 years ago when there were no antibiotics around?
Right.
They did these natural remedies, correct?
Yeah. Well, I think that in general, the ability to purge, fever is your friend.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that the more you actually activate the immune system and you allow it to heal naturally, I think it actually, then your immunity just becomes stronger. So, I mean, obviously, with COVID, there were real people with real issues. Seriously needed to be careful. And
absolutely,
it's an absolute real thing. But I mean, in general, aside from that, I'm not talking about the COVID. We were talking about this when we were young, playing in the dirt, finger underneath the dirt underneath your fingernails.
I don't know how we survived playing, eating glue, picking our nose, and being in the dirt all day as kids.
Yeah, and you do worry about that, because it's so highly sterilized now. You worry about the children and their.
It really is so sterilized.
Yeah.
It's just insane. I think we're going to take another break and come back with Ellen Murphy on Today with Denny. So let your kids play in the dirt. That's the takeaway for that last segment. We're back on Today with Denny, and I'm laughing at my producer because he's one of those guys that goes to a drive-through. He doesn't say, "I want a number 3," and that's it. No. Well, you tell him specifically.
It's got to be 3 cheeseburgers. If it's McDonald's, it's ketchup and onions only.
Okay.
If it's Burger King, it's ketchup only and a large Coke, and that's it. And if they slap pickles on my food, I'm sorry, I'm not even making it out of the parking lot.
You're pulling over and you're going in to confront them, right?
Done.
Game
All
over.
3. Game
oh
over.
My God.
Yeah.
So in the break, Ellen has admitted that she has a 28-year-old son. I mean, I think they call that statutory rape, brother.
Oh.
I mean, how could you? That puts her. We're trying to guess her age now.
She already told us off air.
She did.
Guessing.
Don't reveal.
I
it
shouldn't
on
say
air.
it, right?
No.
Yeah, you might. There might be a rich entrepreneur, Jeff Bezos type, that wants to get private lessons from you. But I can't believe you got a 28-year-old son.
Yeah.
Then that's it, right? No other kids?
So that is it. Yeah.
Wow.
She's a one and doneer.
Jeez. Oh, that's impressive. See, she does not eat fast food several times a week and stay
not several times a week, but every once in a while.
Every once in a
my
while,
body craves the fat. I'll tell you a funny story.
She gets a craving for the pint of Ben and Jerry's all the
Yeah.
time.
Fat.
Right, you go. There you go. See?
When I was in Bikram training. It's like a 9-week grueling thing. One of my first original teachers said, "Do not forget to eat McDonald's every once in a while when you're out there. You will need the fat."
Mm-hmm.
Really?
I swear to God, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, your body just craves it, especially when you're going through that high intensity.
You do need balance, yes. But the whole point is
The good fats are good.
People do it too often. Like they'll eat there 4 or 5 times a week. And what they use as an excuse is, I don't have time to make something. And I'm like, listen, when you're laying in the hospital bed, you're going to wish you made time, because our Western diet is what's, besides stress,
right?
It's what's killing us.
Mm-hmm.
People are not eating enough fresh vegetables and fruits. They're not drinking enough water, right? And that's why they feel like, you know what?
Right.
Now, I know that if I like take a break from exercising,
Mm-hmm.
and I eat like, can I say crap on the air?
Yes,
I just did.
I say it all the time in the morning show.
I'll feel like crap. I mean, it's really simple. And so what people do is they go, well, if I feel like crap, let me go see my doctor, and he or she will just give me a pill to make me feel better. Happy pill. Yes.
Yeah.
Overprescribed. Hey, and if that happy pill isn't working, take a second one.
Yeah.
And if you're having side effects from the second one, we have a third happy pill for you.
Right.
It's like a Pez dispenser.
And then they say to disclosures that taking this may cause sudden death, paralysis, blind, whatever.
Absolutely.
So,
it's our system is great if you have any like urgent care issues.
Yeah.
Beyond that, for follow up or anything chronic autoimmune, it definitely falls short.
I bet she could fix my sleep problem. Her place could fix my sleep
Probably.
issue.
That's right.
I'm serious. I've been listening.
This guy's been sleeping.
Yeah.
What was the over under last night on your sleep?
4.5.
4.5 hours.
Yeah.
I don't sleep very well. I don't. My biological clock is
you just
really
go to
bad.
bed and you're just awake. You can't go to sleep.
I'll go to bed at 8 o'clock at night, and I have to get up at 4 in the morning for the morning show. And I'll go to bed at 8, and I'll wake up at 12:30, 1 o'clock, and I'm like, I'm done.
All right. Well, I bet where I teach yoga, Hot Yoga Jupiter, pretty amazing. The heat with the community. And
how many hours of sleep do you get?
Well, since I've had the insomnia and I healed from that lately, like, I don't know, 8 or 9.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I would give my right leg for that.
Can you imagine how
Right.
I would feel if I had like 8,
I
9?
wish I could get that.
So come in, take a class, and then you could try the neurobiofeedback too.
All right.
With
there you
with
go.
that Center for Brain Training.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
It's true. If you don't get enough sleep, I mean, you're kind of behind the 8 ball.
Mhm.
And
yeah,
it's just a shame.
yeah,
But-
it affects everything, right? I mean,
Yeah, it kind of does. It gets in the way
cognition,
of
you
stuff.
can't really get much done. Emotional too.
But I like the fact that you're not like, hey, I need that McDonald's once in a while. It's true. We're human beings. The body
Right,
adapts.
balance.
I hate any diet that says, don't eat blah, 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 or you can't blah, blah.
No.
Yeah, okay, that's going to work for a couple of weeks. And then you're going to go crazy and splurge and have a
balance.
pizza by yourself.
Yeah. I mean, hey, there's some people that, can be very disciplined, and, I try to be, most of the time, or just at least, I take a lot of supplements. I, just watch the sugars, really.
I think
The
sugar and
carbs,
flour
yeah.
are the two biggest
Totally.
poisons that we have as a society.
Absolutely.
So think about it,
Absolutely.
people they don't like gluten, but that's part of the flour, and then sugar.
Mm-hmm.
So much turns into sugar. So, you're a very grounded person. I love that. You're successful. You're attractive. What do you do for fun when you're not teaching? And what does Ellen Murphy do to kick back and have fun?
Lately,
Lately.
not so much.
Wait a minute, Jamie
like
Elizabeth isn't taking you out partying because she's been singing lately. She'll go. We have a mutual friend, and that's how we met. And Jamie will come to see a band, and she'll take the microphone and start singing. And they're like, "Hey, oh yeah, sure, good. She's a good-looking gal." And,
yeah, I never heard her sing. Actually,
she's a funny gal. She's overcome. She lost her dad last year, and there's another. What is that saying to Joel Osteen? I mean, I don't follow everything he says, but I love when he says, "If you can't be positive, then at least be quiet."
Yeah, there you go.
And
there you go.
So back to you.
But
what do you do for fun?
I do try to connect with friends.
All right.
Go out, listen to a band, DJs, have a drink.
Okay. What about all the marriage proposals you get when you go out to the clubs? Everyone's a CEO? No, they stay away from you?
No comment.
She has this invisible barrier.
Is that what it is?
That has a sign that only
very kind.
Yeah, a very kind sign, but
loyal and authentic gentleman.
Yes.
It could be, if you're not a wild and crazy girls gone wild type of person and you're doing your thing, it might be intimidating because I don't know. They're probably like, what do I say to her?
I would be intimidated to walk up to her in a bar.
You would be.
Really?
Would. The reason why, honestly,
God.
just visual. No, just visual. Looking at her.
He's not looking at you now.
No, because I'm looking at you when you're talking.
Don't you want to look at her?
I will.
Okay.
But when I look at her, I see class. I see the bar set way up here.
Yes.
And that, to me, as an average Joe, would be intimidating. Okay. Where opposed to somebody like yourself that's all buttoned down proper in a suit would be approachable to this young lady here.
Well, I mean,
That's
at a club,
crazy what you see, because I'm so laid back and
Yeah, but see, I'm looking at the book. I'm looking at the outside of the book. I haven't read the page.
I want very good point, Mr. Nine.
Yeah.
I always I've been thinking about having a female co-host because I think it's great to bounce ideas off the opposite sex because men can say the dumbest things when they try and picking some girl up, right? They'll come up and say, you almost want to go, did you really just say that to me? Did that work with the last person that you were?
So we could do some kind of tutorial for men.
Exactly right.
Dating and do a show where we
I just say be yourself and try not to be.
It's true.
Try not to
just be you.
Be stupid. I mean, you can be funny and goofy, but
try not to be stupid to be everybody's mantra every day.
But look, it's not indigenous to the male species. There are some because I play in clubs and I get approached and I hear some of the craziest things from some females out there. Now, no doubt,
I know where that was going.
No doubt, they've had some motivation, like 4 or 5 shots. So that kind of plays into. You know what it is too? It's unless I'm going to go see some friends play, the whole bar thing doesn't appeal to me as much because, first of all, it's usually a loud environment, right? You walk in and it's so damn right, Mr. DJ. It is so damn loud. You can't have a normal conversation, right?
What'd you say?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
And so for me, when I'm off, because look, I've been an entertainer for longest time. I'm a public speaker.
Right.
So when I'm off, I tend to want more calm, soothing, 6 or 7 good friends. We're having a nice meal. We're on the water. We don't have to shout to talk to each other.
Right.
And I'm just telling you, there aren't too many places like that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's interesting. But hey, it's all a balance. It's all
I know a
balancing
great
act.
steakhouse down by you.
Oh,
can
you
go
do?
to. Yes.
A steakhouse.
I'm a big, huge fan of it. Was brought to my attention for my birthday last year, right before COVID hit.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like one of my all-time favorites.
Oh,
If
and
you give us
what's the name?
Texas de Brazil.
Texas.
Texas
And
de
where is
Brazil.
that?
Check it out. It's in the gardens. It's down by
Okay.
you.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess we will.
You
Yeah.
So does steak fit into your lifestyle?
Sure.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm really all
Yeah.
about balance. I mean, I think there's amazing advantages to, vegan, vegetarian, of course. But
Yes, there are.
for me, I don't eat a whole lot of, red meat, probably more fish as far as meat is concerned. But yeah, of course. For me, it's balance.
How about
is
you,
key.
Evan?
I'm a steak guy. I'm a chicken guy. I'll eat some form of fish,
Yeah.
but that
Some form.
of fish. Like I'll eat scallops and shrimp,
Yes.
but that's really about, I'll have like a mahi mahi. I tried mahi mahi and I
Yum.
like that. That was
Mm.
really good.
Yeah.
Really
but that's
yummy.
about it as far as that goes. A little lobster, but otherwise I'm like a filet mignon kind of guy.
I see. Well, it's not like you're eating processed foods.
No.
You're not chopping up the steak and shoving it full of stuff.
Right.
So we're going to take our final break and come back on Today with Denny. You see that? You're intimidated to call. They're not calling in. They're just listening. So they're enjoying everything
enjoying
that
the
they're
voice.
listening.
They're not.
Her
It's the voice.
Yeah.
We're going to put you to work. You just don't know it. We'll be back on Today with Denny. All right, we are back on Today with Denny. I got to tell you, I think I may have to go to this Texas de Brazil because Evan was describing it like, they bring it to your table, they cut it, custom made, and then
It's like a
here's
3-foot skewer. Honestly.
I would feel like Fred Flintstone or
Yeah.
something. They
It's
bring
really
a
cool.
side of beef here and they just kind of do it.
Yeah.
But here's the best part that we were talking about it on the break. We should just broadcast the breaks. I hate when you're eating in a restaurant and they wait till your mouth is full to ask you if everything's okay. What is that? Where do you learn
Or
that?
they come over to you like
you're like,
10 times in 5 minutes.
It's exactly right.
Yes.
Right.
Is everything okay?
No, actually, a lot has
Well, if
changed in
it's-
the last 30 seconds.
Exactly.
Where's the manager?
Right.
Yeah.
So this place, you say they have a coin and they flip it over?
Yeah, they have a coin that they put on your table.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And if you want them to continue to bring you food, you leave the coin
Okay.
facing a certain way. And when you've had enough, you flip the coin over,
Okay.
and they'll stop bringing the skewers of meat. And
Well, there
chicken.
you
Brilliant.
go. I'm
All
telling
that
you,
over.
I wanted to invent a sign that says, yes, everything's okay, or flip it over. Yes, I would like something.
You ever seen those have you ever seen those LED name tags? I have a couple of those.
No.
Where you program them to say whatever you want.
That is hilarious.
So you can have, I'll get
That's
you.
too expensive, man. I just want to sign
They're $10.
Are they really?
They're inexpensive.
Wow.
And you get when you just put it right on your lapel when you go to dinner. Everything is fine. It just keeps going. Everything is fine.
Man.
Oh, wow.
Technology.
I may have found my co-host, ladies and gentlemen, right here in Ellen Murphy. I don't know if I could talk her into it. You have an idea to have what a dating
advice
forum for men.
What to do, what not to do, just from a female perspective, right?
Dating for Dummies 101.
Or how about that? Too much of like either political things or whatever are from a male perspective. Now, I love the fact that there are more female CEOs and more women taking over business. You know why? Men have been screwing it up for years. Let's give them a shot to screw it up. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they'll come up with some things that I'm like, hey, I didn't even think about that. But yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Let's do it.
We must try.
We must try it. Exactly. The worst thing that could happen is what? Nothing.
Exactly.
You won't know until you try.
Something will have to change. So
I think so.
Yes.
So I know it's happening in business. Look at what I do in the financial services field. For example,
how's that going? Yeah,
it's my business is doing great. Thank God. I credit everything to God.
It's great.
But know, without thinking about it, I have more female clients than I do male clients because I don't know. Maybe I'm secretly more feminine than I realize.
It's a suit.
But when I speak to them, I don't try and think like a male perspective. And there are a lot of my clients. Most of them are very successful females,
right?
And we get along very well. I mean, I hear their perspective. I think it's the ego thing. Like I love when I'm wrong because I learned something. I don't know everything. Far from it.
Exactly.
In fact, if someone else wants to be in charge, I'm all for it. Yes, here's my keys. Let me keep my checkbook, but you're in charge.
Right.
You make the decisions.
Right.
See you later.
And so what I'm finding out in the financial services, there's been a big shift in, say, the last 5 to 10 years where more and for good reasons. I know females get a rap that they're more emotional and stuff like that, but that's not necessarily true with the ones that are running businesses.
Right.
They have a different perspective. And
Agreed.
so without thinking, I have a very big meeting with a female client later on today. It's going to be a multi-million-dollar deal.
Love it.
She's not a chicken McNugget McDonald's employee. Okay.
There you go.
And my best clients, what a realization I just came to on the show today without thinking about it. My best and most clients are successful females.
I saw your post on, the female perspective to financing and financial planning.
And so what I'm saying is that I think it's true in so many things in life as well, because you do have a different perspective than we do. It's impossible to think that we think the same. What is that book? Men are from Mars and
Women are
from
Venus.
Venus, right? But you have to embrace the differences because that's where I think a good relationship comes into place as well.
Yeah,
you have a different perspectives and mutual respect. So I'm glad that I hope this venture really takes off well with what you're doing with the 2 doctors.
Thank you. Yeah, we have the Neurobiofeedback, and then I work with Dr. John DeLuca, and we do a lot of, IV infusions that really help autoimmune. Chronic disease, cancer, like chelation, pulling the heavy metals out of the body, ozone, UV light, where they take some blood and put it through infrared light and inject it with ozone, then put it back into the body, and it again naturally healing the body. So a lot of really, these are all natural modalities.
The other thing about men in health is men are procrastinators. They're like, I'm fine. I don't need to see a doctor. Like they don't do a physical every year, which is insane.
Yeah.
And I think more women are in tune to, I've got to do my checkups and everything. And that's a difference too, where I don't know, putting something off like your health is just insane. I don't know. Sticking your head in the sand and hoping for the better doesn't really work with me.
Right.
And
And getting ahead of it, of course. Like,
Yes.
especially if you're, I think for me, there's such a, a drastic sort of emotional response that our body, to anything that's kind of going on, emotionally.
There's no shame in loving oneself, is there?
It's funny. I always say that in my classes. Look deep in the mirror and fall in love with yourself. I know that's very hard, though.
Yeah.
It's so much easier said than done, but look in the mirror and just confront all that is. I mean, a lot of horrifying stuff comes up, but at the same time, you get through it to the other side. Yeah.
So I think we should plan a joint class with my producer here.
Let's do it.
Go to your, you ready to sweat, Evan? What do you think?
I'll go with
Yoga
you.
Jupiter.
I'll go try it.
It'd have to be like, probably around the evening time. Do you have classes?
I sure do.
6:30. You do?
Yep, they do. Yeah. The studio
All right.
has that. Yeah.
Sounds, should I wear like leotards or something?
Spandex.
No, please.
You and spandex.
For yourself.
Spandex with a wig.
And everyone else.
I'm coming to the yoga class. Here I
Shorts
come.
are appropriate. That's good.
How about just like basketball shorts and a t-shirt? There you go.
Great.
Just
Love
like
it.
what I have on
There
here.
you
Well,
go.
yeah,
There
there's
you
no
go.
is there official yoga clothing? No. Is there?
I mean, actually,
There is.
yes,
Okay.
there is. There's
Okay.
like Lululemon, there's a lot of high level.
All right. So honestly,
Corporate,
in your class,
Yes.
are there many guys in there or is it mostly females?
I have some classes where it's more guys than girls.
There's okay, that's
Yes.
cool.
Yes.
And
So there are.
weightlifting, brute,
Sure. All forms,
all
sizes,
forms. Okay.
shapes. Absolutely.
and your class is what, an hour?
90 minutes.
Oh my God, she's gonna kill
no,
us,
it's
dude.
great.
Wow.
No,
Dude, are you sure?
You'll love it.
Bring the O2.
It's all a beginner
Wait a
series.
minute. I don't know about this 90-minute stuff.
It's all a beginner series.
It is?
So it is.
You're not going to kill us, right?
Absolutely not.
All right. Because then
And
you
if you
need
feel
your...
overwhelmed, you lay down, you take a knee.
Or I
You
thought
just
you were
take
going
care
to
of
say take a
yourself.
nap or something.
You could lay down, shut your eyes for a moment. Sure.
All right.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
See, I had this misconception that yoga was, hey, we're going to take it. No, it's bring your heart rate up.
Yeah.
Jack.
Well, actually, I think, Bikram yoga too is for me, it's, because you're in the standing series, you're sort of standing in place, doing the movement that I always thought it's kind of interesting for men that they would kind of, as opposed to, Ashtanga or Vinyasa where you're sort of moving around more. So I think men sort of like the Bikram series. They're all, any kind of yoga is amazing.
If I can learn to stretch every day, come up with a 10 or 15 minute routine, and probably a good idea because I'm usually at the gym around 6 a.m. That I stretch before I lift and do stuff. And I think most of the stretching I need is in the lower back and the legs.
Perfect. Right.
I think I'm okay with the upper, and I would just feel more relaxed and better and more at ease. And well, folks, do you have a phone number that they can call to
Sure do.
to join? What is that number?
Yeah. You can just call me for any questions.
Okay.
561-319-3661. I also teach meditation, instruct classes, Reiki, of course, the yoga and any questions you had about hyperbaric oxygen chamber, which we didn't even get to. We will get to that next time with my partners.
Well, we could give you a real good excuse to come back.
Absolutely.
And
we'll
I
come
don't
back
know.
with
What
Mike
do you
and
what do you
John.
think, Evan?
Yeah,
If I had a
Dr. John.
co-host like Ellen Murphy,
Mhm.
I'm done.
you're done. No, you're not going anywhere.
No, I'm melted butter.
You're there, right?
Yeah, I'm there. I approve.
We could talk about
100%.
so many different things every day.
I think she'd be a great co-host.
She's probably too busy, I mean,
We could bring
Let's
her in on
discuss.
Zoom. Also, we could bring her in on Zoom.
I know it's just
Let's
not the
discuss
same.
it.
I know.
Yeah.
I like the personal.
The
I mean, how
voice,
did you
the
do
audio.
that? You had to do that because of COVID for 6 months?
No, we still were here. Bonnie and I were here. We
You
just
were.
kind of kept our distance.
Okay.
Yeah, we got to wrap up though.
All right. Hey, folks, thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you next week. Make it a great day. Make it the best day you can on Today with Denny. Thank you.
The preceding was a paid program. The content is provided by the advertiser. WSTU, its staff, management, and owners are not responsible for the content. Advisory services offered through Blackridge Asset Management, a registered investment advisor. Securities are offered through Peak Brokerage Services, LLC. Blackridge Asset Management is a separate and independent entity from Peak Brokerage Services, LLC. Member FINRA SIPC.